The teaching of entrepreneurship is something that is naturally associated with the college experience. But since not all high school grads end up going to college, should this be an area of study in high school? Pleasure to be joined right now by Lori Rosenkopf, who is management professor and vice dean of entrepreneurship here at the Wharton School. Lori, great to talk to you again. How are you?
Great, Dan. Happy to be here.
Let's start off, I guess, with the importance of an entrepreneurial education in general.
Well, entrepreneurial education is about all of the critical thinking that we know is becoming ever more important to develop in all students of all ages as we enter the age of AI. And so entrepreneurship is about creating questions out of unstructured situations, generating and testing hypotheses as to how those questions can be solved, and then having the people skills as well to implement those solutions. So those are skills that we should be teaching across the board to students.
We're starting to see some school districts include this in their curriculum. So obviously they believe it is important. I guess the question is, can it be effectively taught to high school students?
Yes and no. It can be effectively thought. The process of developing an entrepreneurial mindset and finding problems to work on and attempts to make that go forward, that can be taught to anyone at any age. Where it can be challenging is that the most successful entrepreneurs tend to be people who've had a significant amount of career experience and understand an industry vertical pretty effectively to develop real solutions. So what you're going to see with high schoolers is a much smaller set of possible businesses that they can develop. But this is the best time to start learning and practicing before they even get to college and start working with more of the technologies that are developed in a university setting.
What are the types of resources that schools will need to have in order to be able to bring forward an effective level of education around entrepreneurship?
I think the most important thing is probably engage teachers who are willing to put in the extra mile to really serve as curators for students who are deeply interested. Some limited resources to make small micro grants to students is obviously a great thing because it can give students who don't have resources enough capital to get some supplies or do some advertising, get the word out, and the like. Being able to take advantage of either alumni or parents at the school who have some sort of entrepreneurial experience, even if that's something as basic as being self-employed and doing some sort of personal care services, that's still about starting a business. So bringing that network in to help students start to see themselves is just fabulous. And of course, there's tons of stuff online as well.
Right. And I would imagine there's an element of this that helps to empower students and to give them the opportunity and the thought process that they can go out and do something like this and start their own business down the road.
It's kind of remarkable, Dan, even in my own work with more established people further along, in my research for my book, I saw that about half of the people were from childhood saying, I knew I would be an entrepreneur. I was reselling my Halloween candy or great Girl Scout cookies, paperboy routes, etc. But then the other half come to it later. And I think in the same way, in a high school setting, you're going to have some subset of students who are super excited about this idea and are just looking for more and more places where they can start to generate some business, some traction. And then you have others who might be a little bit more reticent about it. And that's where things like my book can show them some of these role models and help them understand that entrepreneurs are simply people who find ways to innovate and create some value from it.
So that brings up the interesting question of the types of curriculum we have in schools these days and whether or not that this kind of opens the door to thinking about different types of education, that, as you kind of alluded to earlier with the onset of AI, that we need to have as we move forward and we are teaching those next generation of soon to be high school graduates.
Yes. The traditional business education class was typically economics in high school. And economics is important for people to learn supply and demand and some of the macroeconomic trends that affect businesses as well. But it's not a substitute for practicing defining a problem and building solutions and implementing them. So the two of them can be really complementary and giving students the experiential opportunities to play around and fail. Most businesses will fail, particularly at this stage, or they will be so minuscule in revenues so as not to be a part of the economy. But giving students that chance is incredibly important for their future development. It gets those muscles going as they start to see more and bigger opportunities. It's the same thing we do with the students at Venture Lab, undergraduates as well as graduate students. Many of those ventures will not wind up making it to a formal business, but they're giving people the muscle to move further in that direction.
From the education side of this, and you mentioned you want to have engaged teachers, but
Mhm.
what else must the teachers have in order to be effective?
Well, we do want the teachers to be able to communicate some fundamental business principles so that they can help students have some discipline about not only measuring whether they've reached some customers, but whether they're actually turning a profit or creating value in ways that are really meaningful. So we need that set of skills. But then we want them taking advantage of all the different resources available. I use the word curator. These teachers are curators in some sense to say, here are the series of online resources where people can watch videos and learn about some of these more curricular pieces, if you will. Here are all of the entities in the community that are actually providing some ways for young people to come together and pitch in different competitions or get some micro grants and the like. And here are ways in which we can build activities within the school and within our community to get everyone learning from everyone else, as well as from that instructor.
Lori, great to talk to you as always. Thanks very much for your time. All the best.
Absolutely, Dan. Great to see you.
Thank you. Great to see you as well. Lori Rosenkopf, management professor and vice dean of entrepreneurship here at the Wharton School.